You ever notice how the people who once knew you best suddenly become strangers? Not because something went wrong, not because anyone got hurt, but simply because time moved on, and so did life. And if you're anything like me, that realization hits harder than expected. Because the truth is, adult friendships don't end because of fights, they end because of calendars. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the slow, quiet death of adult friendships and why it's not about love, but about time. When we're young, friendship is effortless. You go to school together, play sports together, sit through the same boring classes, laugh about the same dumb jokes, and walk home side by side. You don't have to schedule anything, you just show up. Friendship happens automatically because proximity creates connection, and time is unlimited. But then something shifts. We grow up, we graduate, we chase careers, we move cities, we get into relationships, we start families, we get tired, and suddenly, the people who once filled your life are now reduced to names on a contact list you haven't touched in years. You see their stories on Instagram, you like a post here and there. Maybe you think about texting them, but not today. I'm too tired. And just like that, silence becomes the default. But here's the thing, no one tells you friendship isn't about love, it's about maintenance. Let me explain. You might still love your old friends, you still care, you still wish them well, but relationship, all relationships, require consistent, intentional energy. And in adulthood, energy is the one thing most of us are running out. We're drained from work, burnt out by responsibilities, overstimulated by screens, stretched thin between obligations. And so friendship becomes optional, not on purpose, not because we don't value it, but because survival takes priority over connection. So we stop reaching out, we stop following up, we stop making plans, and eventually we stop trying. Now, here's where it gets worse. We don't just lose the friendship, we start to believe a story about it. I guess they didn't care as much as I did. If they wanted to talk, they would. Maybe we were never that close. But most of the time, none of that is true. They were just as tired, just as overwhelmed, just as unsure of how to reinitiate a friendship that quietly faded. We all become passive participants in the loss of our own connection, not because we wanted it that way, but because we didn't fight hard enough against the silence. And it's heartbreaking. Because adulthood teaches you something painful. Friendship isn't automatic anymore. It has to be chosen. And when no one is choosing, it dies. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but slowly, like a fire that runs out of oxygen. One unread message at a time. One canceled hangout at a time. One, let's catch up soon. That never happened. So what do? How do we keep friendships alive in a life that feels like it has no space for them? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You have to make space, not find it. Make it. Because time will never appear on its own. Energy will never magically restore itself. Schedules will never stop being full. You have to treat your friendships like anything else that matters in life, with effort, with intention, with presence. Text first. Make the plan. Reschedule it. But don't forget. Send the voice note. Check in without a reason. Be the one who reaches out. Not just when things are bad, but especially when things are good. You might be thinking, but I don't have time for that. And I get it. I do. But ask yourself this. Do you have time to feel lonely? Do you have time to scroll endlessly through social media hoping someone reaches out? Do you have time to feel like no one really knows you anymore? Because that's the cost of inaction. We pay with loneliness, with emotional fatigue, with the slow erosion of who we used to be. You don't lose friends in adulthood because you stop loving them. You lose them because you stop choosing them. Now, let's talk about what it really means to choose someone. It doesn't mean texting them every day. It doesn't mean seeing them every weekend. It doesn't mean dropping everything for them. It means staying present in their life, even if it's in small ways. It means remembering their big day at work and sending a message. It means forwarding a meme they'd laugh at. It means saying, hey, I miss you, even if you don't have time for a full conversation. Because those little things, they build bridges. And every time you cross that bridge, even briefly, you remind the other person, I still see you. You still matter. But here's the twist. Adult friendship also requires grace. You can't expect perfection. You can't expect constant attention. You can't take it personally when people are quiet. Sometimes they're struggling. Sometimes they're lost. Sometimes they're just trying to stay afloat. So if a friend disappears for a while, don't assume they've stopped caring. Reach out again. Be patient. Leave the door open. That door might be the only one they feel safe walking. Let me share something personal. There was a time I lost almost every close friend I had. Not because of any argument, but because I was drowning in my own life. And you know what I learned? It only takes one message to rebuild a bridge. Just one. I sent a voice note saying, "I miss you. No pressure. Just wanted you to know I still think about you." They responded, and now we talk regularly again. Not every day, not perfectly, but enough to feel connected, enough to know that the friendship is alive. And that means everything. Here's the part that stings. Some friendships won't survive adulthood, not because you didn't try, not because they didn't care, but because life sometimes pulls people in different directions, and that's okay. Let them go with love, but the ones who still matter to you, fight for them, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's awkward, even when you feel like the only one putting in the effort. Because real friendship isn't 50-50 all the time. Sometimes it's 90-10, sometimes it's 20-80, and the only way it lasts is if someone is always willing to bring it back to life. You don't need a huge group. You don't need daily texts. You don't need constant validation. You just need a few people, just a few, who you know are still there, still listening, still caring, still showing up in their own way. Keep those people close, even if it takes effort, even if it's imperfect, even if it's not how it used to be. Because adult friendships don't die from lack of love, they die from neglect. So choose love, choose connection, choose to be the person who doesn't let the silence win. If this hit you deep and you want more real, raw conversations like this, subscribe for the next video.